What up, Giants fans? You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. Video number 2 of the day because we have some breaking news surrounding the New York Football Giants. Big Blue has re-signed or signed or brought back, we'll explain, but Isaiah Hodgins is back with the New York Giants for the 2023-2024 season. They have signed him today. He was going to be an exclusive rights free agent, which pretty much means the Giants, they controlled his contract at a league minimum salary. If he wanted to play football, he had to play with the Giants. He wasn't able to negotiate with any other team in the NFL. So push came to shove, and Isaiah Hodgins is back with the New York Football Giants for next season. We're going to break all this down in today's show. The Giants have also signed 2 other exclusive free agents, Jack Anderson, the offensive lineman, and Lawrence Cager, the tight end, are also back. So the Giants are bringing back some of their own before we get rolling in free agency, as we're about, I guess it's like a little less than a month away. March 15th, going to be here extremely fast. Before we dive any deeper into this and explain and get into everything that Isaiah Hodgins has brought to this team and how much money he's going to be making, if you didn't just listen to me say that, type 18, his jersey number, down in the comment section. Show our guy Isaiah Hodgins some love, because when he came to the New York Giants, I think you could argue he was their number 1 wide receiver for the final 10 games that he played for Big Blue. I think it was a masterclass of a move by Joe Schoen. Type 18, Hodgins' jersey number, down in the comment section. Due to him being an exclusive rights free agent, he can't earn any more money than $870,000. That is the league minimum. It's pretty much an exclusive rights free agent target is when you're undrafted and you have less than 3 years in the NFL. You really can't negotiate and become a free agent till you get past this ERFA stuff. A lot of nerd stuff. All that matters is Hodgins is going to be back, and this was a no-brainer for Joe Schoen, Brian Daboll, this front office, and this coaching staff. What Hodgins was able to give you and bring to this football team was desperately needed, and I think he exceeded everybody's expectations. I still remember the day when Isaiah Hodgins was signed to the Giants after he was waived by the Buffalo Bills back in week 8, and we did a video on it, and I was like, look, I don't know what to expect for this guy. He was pretty damn good in college at Oregon State. There were some draft analysts that were really high on him. Look, if he comes in, he plays a couple of games, catches a couple of balls, I'd be cool with it. Never did I think he would put up these type of stats in 8 games, and they're not the best stats in the world at all, but he came in, took over that wide receiver 1 role, became a reliable target for Daniel Jones, and they quickly built and started to stack chemistry when they started playing together. I mean, in his first game against Houston, he had 2 catches for 41 yards. Then against Detroit, he had 3 catches for 29 yards. Took some time for him to heat up, but then against Dallas, he had 3 for 31, and then he started to heat up. Against Washington, he had 5 for 44 and a touchdown, then 4 for 38 against Philly and a touchdown. And then the last 2 games of the regular season, if you take out week 18 because the starters didn't play, he had 8 catches for 89 yards against Minnesota and a touchdown, and he had 4 for 42 against Indy and a touchdown. 33 receptions, 350 yards, 4 touchdowns. He played all over the field. He lined up in the slot. He played outside. And the thing that I love about Hodgins is he raised his level of play in the playoffs. Didn't really play all that well or that much. Really, the offense didn't play well at all against Philly. He only had 1 catch for 3 yards, but he absolutely tore up Patrick Peterson twice in one season. We talked about it. In week 15, he had 8 catches for 89 yards and a touchdown. In the playoffs, 8 receptions, 105 yards, and another touchdown. He was great. He did everything we could have asked for. I'm so glad that he's going to be back. Still a young player, not even 25 years old. But the Giants still absolutely need to go out and improve this wide receiver core in other ways. And coming up in a second, I'm going to show you some trade targets, free agent targets, and draft targets that the Giants could look at the wide receiver spot. But look, this is why you subscribe to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. When breaking news happens, we drop what we're doing here at Chat Sports and get the Giants' real ones a video as soon as possible. Breaking news, rumors, trade talks, free agency, the draft, we do it all here on the channel. And I say we do it pretty damn good. Videos every single day, sometimes 2 videos a day. Don't be the guy that's going to be asking about Isaiah Hodgins in a mailbag coming up this week when you should have your notifications on. And you should already know Isaiah Hodgins has been signed, and all the subscribers are going to know. We're going to get to more Hodgins stuff and some other targets the Giants could look at the wide receiver spot. But first, I want to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, and that is LinkedIn. Go to linkedin.com/NFL Daily. Shout out to them for sponsoring New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. You want to be 100% certain that you have access to the best qualified candidates available. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the right people for your team faster and for free. It is super easy and user-friendly to create a free job posting on LinkedIn. You add your job in the purple hashtag for the hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you are hiring. They give you tools, simple tools to use, like screening questions, and make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to hire. It's also why small business rates on LinkedIn Jobs are number one in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/NFL Daily. That's linkedin.com/NFL Daily. That link is in the comments and description of today's show. Link is also right here as well in the comments and description. Shout out to LinkedIn for sponsoring today's show in New York Giants Now. Joe Schoen, in his first year as a general manager, didn't have any really resources outside of draft picks to improve this roster. They didn't have any salary cap space. They only really signed one starter in Mark Glowinski in free agency. But what he did after that, he only signed two players to long-term deals, a.k.a. multi-year deals, Mark Glowinski and Tyrod Taylor. Every other free agent Joe Schoen signed was a one-year deal. But what he was able to do on the back end of this roster by signing cheap free agents or in-season pickups or waiver claims or practice squad steals, as I like to call them, he was absolutely electric. Look at these players that he got. These are the 2022-2023 cap hits for guys that Joe Schoen brought in. Look at Isaiah Hodgins. It only costed the Giants on the cap $391,000. Jihad Ward, he was a starter for this team, as was Richie James, as was Darius Slayton, as was Jalen Smith, as was Fabian Morrow. And down the stretch, Landon Collins played a lot, Nick McLeod played a lot, and Jason Pinnock started to play once Xavier McKinney fell off of an ATV in Mexico and broke his hand. Joe Schoen did everything he possibly could to make this team better with the situation he was handed by Dave Gettleman. And a huge part of the success he had in that area was a guy like Isaiah Hodgins. It's not often, or it's rarely ever. Go back to Victor Cruz, that you sign someone mid-season off of someone's practice squad that jumps in and becomes your number one wide receiver. I love Hodgins. He's young. He's going to continue to get better. But he can't be the best receiver on your team, or you're just going to be an okay wide receiver group. The Giants still have to improve that wide receiver depth chart right now, because Darius Slayton, he's a free agent. Richie James is a free agent. Sterling Shepard is a free agent. Marcus Johnson is a free agent. So the only people you have on the roster right now at the wide receiver spots are Isaiah Hodgins, Wan'Dale Robinson coming off a torn ACL, and Colin Johnson coming off a torn Achilles when he popped it before the season even started. And there's multiple ways that the Giants can fix this spot. They enter the NFL free agency period with $46.7 million in cap space. They're top five in the NFL in that spot. But you still got some guys to pay, like Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, Andrew Thomas coming up. You got to pay Dexter Lawrence, and you got to pay Xavier McKinney coming up. So they're not going to be crazy spenders in free agency, but I do think they're going to be more active and more aggressive than they were last year when on the first day of free agency they signed Robert Foster. I will never, ever forget that. These are the top 10 free agent wide receivers coming up in a month or so. You got OBJ. I don't know if the Giants are really all that interested in him anymore. Joe Schoen preaches smart, tough, and dependable. You can find out if OBJ's that guy. I got Juju Smith-Schuster. I think he's going back to the Chiefs. I like Jacoby Myers, but I really wouldn't be that excited about it. I wouldn't really be excited about anybody on this list. I mean, Michael Thomas could be a good idea, but he just really hasn't played football all that much, and I wouldn't call him dependable. Mecole Hardman makes some sense due to the Mike Kafka connection. I like Paris Campbell. And if you're just looking for a vet on the outside, Marvin Jones. I like the upside of DJ Chark, but he's also not that dependable, meaning he's more often hurt than not. These are the top 10 wide receivers in the NFL draft. According to some of the draft experts out there, for sure there's some guys like Kayshon Boutte that's not on this list and some other guys, but you got Jordan Addison, Quentin Johnston, Jackson Smith, and Jigba, Josh Downs, Jalen Hyatt, Rashee Rice, Tyler Scott, A.T. Perry. Zay Flowers is a guy that's really skyrocketing up boards, and we'll talk about this in tomorrow's video, a little bit of preview. Todd McShay, he had the Giants selecting Zay Flowers with that 25th pick. There's a guy that I like a lot in Zay Flowers. 25 might be a reach for me, but there's definitely someone you can get. Maybe you want to look at the trade market. And we've talked about these guys before. There's been rumors from T. Higgins, their athletic beat reporter, said that he might get traded. Brandon Ayuk is playing on a team that's right up against the salary cap, and they don't have a first-round pick. Maybe they trade him. DeAndre Hopkins and the Arizona Cardinals sound like they are coming to a mutual agreement to part ways. Mike Evans, could they trade him? Or could they trade Godwin with Tom Brady out of there? DJ Moore has had some trade rumors surrounding him. Keenan Allen is another guy that's had some trade rumors surrounding him, as well as Brandon Cooks. There's a lot of players at the wide receiver spot that I think could be traded. At the end of the day, the Giants still have to get better at this wide receiver spot. Step one was bringing back Isaiah Hodgins. I mean, look, it was going to happen no matter what, or he just wasn't going to play football the way the exclusive rights free agent kind of works. I'm glad he's back. I might have to get me an 18 shirt jersey next year of Isaiah Hodgins, but you got to get somebody else, whether it's a draft, free agency, or trade. I don't know what it's going to be. So I want to ask you right now watching, how should you fix, or how should Joe Schoen fix the Giants wide receiver core? Should they do a trade? Should they do it in the draft or free agency? I'm sure there'll be a little mixture of all. Maybe not a trade, but draft and free agency. But how would you go out and get the Giants' number one wide receiver? Type T for trade, D for draft, or F for free agency. I appreciate everybody for tuning in yet again to New York Giants Now by Chat Sports, video number 2 of the day, because when news comes out, we get you guys a video. Another place you could have heard about the news first is over on my Twitter, at @MarshallGreen_. Give me a follow over there, and I'll give you a follow back. Let's frickin' go G-Men.